Episode 90, Pineola Road, or Pineola, however you wish to say it. Did you know that if you hold a squirrel up to your ear, you can hear yourself being attacked by a squirrel? Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki G. I'm here to inform, entertain, and delight your ear holes with all things off-road for the next 10 minutes or so. Why 10 minutes? That's how long it's going to take me to catch that squirrel. Actually, the squirrels around my house are pretty easy to catch. They're pretty tame. I haven't tried to catch one, but I think I can. All I need is a handful of sunflower seeds. Those things are suckers for sunflower seeds. I want to remind everybody you can listen to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Overcast, Breaker, CastBox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and whatever the hell you're listening to it on right now. You can reach out and touch the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast, and yeah, it's been a while since I've been touched, so let's reach out. It ain't that kind of podcast. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyhow, you can reach us on 10-Minute Off-Road at gmail.com. That's 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. And I will probably ignore that email. I haven't checked it in a while, although last time I said I was going to check it and I never did. But, you know, I can only read so many Viagra ads a day. I'd like to remind you, you can follow the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on pretty much nothing because social media is kind of dead to me. Even my own personal social media accounts, I kind of taking a break from social media. I know social media is kind of a necessary evil in today's world. But if I ever do get into the swing of social media, you can check us out on Instagram. Never Twitter, because I don't do Twitter anymore. It's got nothing to do with Elon Musk. It's just that Twitter got too politically charged. Well, all social medias get politically charged, but Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, but never TikTok. But let's just say I don't want to get the Chinese government involved, although everything I buy is pretty much made in China. All right, so now we got the legal mumbo-jumbo boilerplate bull crap out of the way. I think I'm supposed to mention that I record this on Anchor, which is now Spotify, but when I go to it, I have to put in Anchor's web address, and it takes me to Spotify. So I don't know what the hell I'm recording this on, but well, I'm recording it on my laptop and hosting it up to Anchor/Spotify. They made me say it. Now that I said it, they can give me my dog back. All right, this week I want to talk about Pineola Road, or Pineola, spelled Pineola. Forest Service Road 464. It's in North Carolina, north of Morganton, east of Linville, in that area. It runs between Highway 181 and Highway 90. When I say highway, I mean it's just a 2-lane road. State roads, I guess you call them. Went up there last week, had a good time. Never been up there. I see people talk about it. And I got to tell you, it's a piece of cake. It's not a trail. It's a road. Not rough at all. It was 25 miles long. It took us about 3 hours to get through it. That's with a little bit of stopping and sightseeing and stuff and exploring. I was at altitude, almost said attitude, of 3,300 feet. So it's not the tallest peak in North Carolina, but it's up there a little bit. It's a one-lane road, dirt road. Pretty smooth, though. They take good care of it. It has pull-offs, so opposite-facing traffic could just, pull over. They have wide spots in the road where you can pull over. I guess I call them pull-offs. Not much to see on the road, especially with the spring when the leaves on the trees are in full greenery. We saw some pretty good views, mountainous views, but there's no leaves on the tree. So if there's a lot of greenery, you're not going to see much. But hey, you're seeing a beautiful dirt road through the woods. Life don't get better than that. There's tons and tons of, I won't say tons and tons, but there's quite a bit of hiking trails. And I won't get through all the hiking trails on there. I know Lost Cove Cliffs was is one of the popular ones. I guess you walk out to some cliff faces and look out over the cliff. A couple of waterfalls to see. I didn't see any of them because, like I said before, and I'll say it again, my walking days are over. I could hike a mile maybe, and then the mile back is going to be killer for me. Yeah, which is funny because I walk more than that in a day, but I've got no desire to hike through the woods anymore. What there was on this road was about 8 nice big campsites. Perfect, beautiful, flat places for your tent, pretty wide open. Bad news is that all 8 campsites were kind of right there on top of each other. So if you go on a busy weekend, you might get some neighbors, and that could be good, that could be bad. Or if you have a very large group, I'd head out to Pineola Road, and you could have your family reunion out there. If you're going to go to the campsites just to camp, I would start from the west side of Pineola Road off of 181, and that gets you about a third of the way there. If you start from the east, like we did, about 2/3 down is where the campsites were. So if you just want to hurry up and get to a campsite, that's the way to go. If you got a lot of time to kill, go up Brown Mountain Beach Road, turn on to Edge Mountain Road, and then hit Pineola Road from there, from the east.
Hi-de-ho, this is Tony with the Jeep Talk Show, and just like you, I'm listening to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast with Nikki G.
Right at the campsites, there's a road turns to the south, Forest Service Road 56. I didn't clock how long it was. It seemed like it was quite a few miles. Don't waste your time going down there. There's a few hiking trails you could hit down there. But if you're not going to the hiking trails, don't waste your time going down there. Nothing to see. Pretty thickly covered, so you can't really see the scenery too much. It dead ends into private property, and then you got to turn around and come back out. But, don't take my word for it. Go drive down and judge for yourself. But if you don't have time or if you're in a rush, don't bother going down it. Once you pass the campsites, that's, there's nothing much. You go down that road about 200 feet, you've seen all you're going to see on it. There's a firewood situation on there. Pineola Road, when we're driving down it, we pass tons and tons of deadfall on the side of the road. Bring a saw with you if you don't have firewood, and pick up some of this deadfall along the way. Because when you get to the campsites, because all the campsites are right there on top of each other, it's been picked clean of deadfall. There is no firewood to speak of. There's some trees laying on the ground that are just so waterlogged and soaked that they won't burn. They'll just smoke and smolder. Or you can bring your own firewood. Or, there's no law saying you have to have a campfire. But camping without a fire that really puts a downer on things. I don't know. There's a little voice inside my head that demands I burn things. And for having so many campsites right on top of each other, I was surprised at how clean they were. I walked around and picked up just a small amount of trash. There's some trash that I left. There's just some things Nikki G won't pick up. I'm sorry. I'll clean up after you guys all that I can, but when it comes to hygiene stuff, I'm not touching that. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but I ain't getting hepatitis for you guys. All right, so this week is short and sweet. This is probably the last podcast of 2023, or it's the first podcast of 2024, depending how fast I can haul this thing up there. Well, as always, this is Nikki G saying, wheel what you got and be happy.